Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Bonjour, hello.
Okay,
yeah,
still with the French.
it's my thing now, man.
I like it.
Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Matt, I don't know who's trolling who at this point. We're actually just like we're a Marcus Gasol. We're just connective tissue. We're becoming one podcast being. This is a Raptors basketball podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We're hardcore fans. Matt, if you want to listen to us, help us, follow us, help me get like some direction in life. Where might you find us?
Well, we're always on iTunes and Stitcher, Player FM, Spotify, Pocket Cast. If you're one of those who pays for your podcatcher,
wow, cheers.
Yeah. Go to dunkspodcast.com. We got all our links there. You can press on them. They'll take you where you need to go. And we appreciate the ratings and reviews we got. Let's not forget, we are on YouTube.
That's right.
And we have 11 subscribers now.
Let's get to 12.
We're trying to get to 12. That's when the money kicks in.
Yeah, I think we'll get there. And Player FM as well.
Player FM is huge
for folks who are wondering.
I feel like I saw they did some improvements to their app or something.
Oh, they're always keeping that thing.
I think we got number 12 coming in.
Oh. Wow. Okay. We just our first guest who I'm going to bring on right now. I think he qualifies as the best basketball player I know in real life. You know what though? Maybe not, because I've been working really hard on my game. He's awesome. He's hilarious. Give it up for friend of the podcast, Alan Shane Lewis.
Hello? Oh, no.
Sharp one.
Sharp cut.
Hard cut off.
I know.
Oh, Matt's on
Sometimes
it
I do a hard cut.
I was about to freestyle, but all right. I guess we don't do that here.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for doing the pod,
Thanks
man.
for having me. That song now sounds like Sonic, and Sonic just had a trailer today.
I know.
It's horrible.
Oh,
I haven't seen the trailer, but I have seen a still of Jim Carrey, and it looks hilarious.
Jim Carrey's in it?
Yeah, he's Dr. Robotnik. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it in IMAX and pay all the money first day, but I'm not proud of that.
I'll see it with you, and I think our next guest will too. If he's in town, I know he's up for a film every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think last time we talked to him, he was checking out every bodega in the city of Brooklyn, New York. That's right, it's a city, baby, or maybe it's not. I don't know. It's a borough. Whatever, man. I'm doing my best here.
I don't know.
If you're at home,
nice
clap
intro.
some together for Alex Pavone.
Is he even still there? We don't even know.
I'm here. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and waving like my jersey to the rafters. And it's the borough of Queens. It is fucking Queens. Can I swear it's Queens?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's in Queens.
You're in Queens. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm in the borough that kissed Amazon goodbye.
Wow.
Queensite. Yes.
So were you with like Ocasio-Cortez when she formed the plan, or?
No. I actually just found out who she was like 2 weeks ago.
Nice. Well,
I'm not a big political person.
Fair enough. But, if you check her out, you probably got some pretty awesome clips ahead.
Yeah.
She's got some good sound bites. I'm a fan. Okay, guys, are you ready to get cracking here on the most important time of the season, or what?
Yeah.
Game time.
Okay.
Who's not?
So, first things first.
Yeah.
Matt, tell me something I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
About Art Long.
Okay, Art Long.
We start with the goods here, okay?
I'm starting with the tougher one because last week we had some rough former players that have had some bad stuff happen with them. Not any better for Art Long, okay?
Right.
But the next guy I'll do is a little more positive. But we're going to start with Art Long.
Okay.
He only played 7 games for the Raps.
That's okay.
During
Better
the
than me.
2002-2003 season. Did you know that in the mid-90s, just to give you a little taste of what's ahead for him, he punched a police horse in the face?
That's awesome. Okay, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he punched us, and he's from New York. So I don't know, Alex, if you can give us some background on police horses in New York, but I bet they're pretty nasty.
Well, he ain't from Queens, buddy. Because if he was from Queens, he would have gave him. He wouldn't have stopped with a punch. It would have been a combo. That horse got an elbow right to the schnoz, right to the sniffer.
Unfortunately, there's one more thing about him, and it's not very positive. He is
punching a horse was positive.
Well, it was a bit funny.
I feel like it's pretty cartoonish. But what he did next, not very cartoonish. He is incarcerated right now for dealing ecstasy and marijuana, and as well as some weapon charges. Unfortunately, 81 months he got for that. Sorry, I know it's tough. It's not like I have this like former Raptors matrix where I'm making them do all this stuff.
Buddy, I asked you to tell me something I don't know, and sometimes it's something I don't want to know. But, I'm asking for it. So it's on me ultimately, you know what I mean?
True, we're getting there. There's player number 4. No, sorry, player number 94.
Wow.
Okay.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Okay, should we move on?
Yeah.
Did he go to jail for punching the horse?
No, I think he got off saying that he was trying to pet the horse or something. Like it was like they can't prove that he wasn't trying to pet the horse.
I was trying to give your horse a pet, and I just knocked him in his jaw. I'm sorry, my bad. That happens. I got this weird crick in my shoulder.
And I also say tiger knee. Sorry, I just say that.
I knew it.
I just love like him getting sentenced for selling Molly and marijuana, and the horse is in the courtroom.
Character witness.
Getting his vengeance.
Where on this horse dummy?
That wasn't a pet.
I'd like it if the horse was like in the courtroom, but the horse was like, "No, we're good. I'm here as a friend." Okay,
we've made amends.
Let's move over to Raptors. Maddie, would you give me that Raptors sting?
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
He's doing it. He's doing it with the sound effects.
They're not an up and coming team. They're here.
Yeah, you're so proud of yourself, Matt, and I love it.
That's the best one I've made for sure.
Alex Allen, not sure if you've heard this yet, but I've been doing a rather messy statistical watch during the playoffs for our Raptors, and we're going to start with Kyle Lowry. Yeah, that's right. He's made some ground since our last pod. So, Matt, are you ready?
I just want to say that I have upgraded the Hunger Games canon. I felt the canon in the distance was a little tough to hear. So I talked to Stanley Tucci or whoever you have to talk to in the Hunger Games world and got a little closer to the canon. That's all I asked for.
I'm glad you did your research because, Kyle passed some pretty big names. Okay. And we need to memorialize those names the right Hunger Games way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kyle started with 335 assists, which had him at 110th all time in the playoffs.
Right.
He now has 391 assists. Mm-hmm. So since last pod, Kyle has passed Bobby Jones.
Ooh, nice.
Boris Diaw. Tim Hardaway. Ron Boone. Rod Strickland.
Bit of a delay.
And Byron Scott. He now sits at 81st all time in assists, and he's coming for Hal Greer and John Starks.
Wow. I've got a little Kyle Lowry tidbit for you.
Okay.
As I said, I'm shooting a commercial on Thursday, and I was talking to the wardrobe lady about the podcast a little bit.
Okay.
She goes, "Oh, you know who I'm a stylist for the last 5 years? Kyle Lowry."
So he's on the next pod?
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm going to see her on Thursday. I got to work on this a little bit more.
Sick. Yeah.
But I put the podcast in her head, so obviously next time he's getting some shirts put on.
Yeah.
She's going to hopefully.
Be like, okay, she'll be like, this guy that I'm doing a commercial with, he once did a commercial with Sidney Crosby.
That's true.
And Sidney Crosby never went on his pod, so you shouldn't either. I'm just kidding. Honestly, next week, tune in. We got Crosby and Lowry.
Promised here first.
We'll see if they know each other. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get going on Raptors.
Funny if they're
stuff.
bitter rivals. They just get in a fight on your show.
Oh,
that would be a mean
really
fight.
Good press.
Okay, Alex, I'm going to start with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just as a part of a grieving process, what are your top disappointments from Game 2?
Oh my gosh! I mean, just coming out in that first quarter when you have the momentum and just letting Philly take the momentum, just take the win right out of our sails in that first quarter. That really fucked us because I mean, obviously we're going to make a push because we're good, but how do you start a game like that? I mean, obviously they were going to come out, especially with Embiid being sick. Like you gotta, put the pedal to the metal and just come out guns a-blazing. So that really sucked for sure. That
was rough. Alan, you got a top disappointment from the game?
Yeah, I don't. Brett Brown did outcoach Nick Nurse this game because he completely changed up the lineup.
He did.
And how defensively they were going to market. They put like Tobias Harris on Marc Gasol and, Embiid on Siakam. So that kind of like neutralized the wing on that. So that was a big thing. But why didn't Nick Nurse recognize that early? Why didn't he keep that like, okay, that's happening? And then they try to do a lot of like Marc Gasol in the post, but then they kept giving him like high post action, like put him low post. So it's just a one-time back down so we can move it. So Nick Nurse not recognizing that early kind of bothered me. And then the bench just not hitting shots and Ibaka fucking biting on pump fakes. Like, buddy, don't. He's not going to shoot it. I'll tell you that right now. He's doing that to open up some space. That's all it is. I don't think Ibaka when Embiid's out there, Gasol should be out there. That should just be it. Just when he's.
So that's actually
Alan.
Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Add to that, but like fucking Nick Nurse, like, what are you doing? Not putting Kawhi on Jimmy Butler, especially when he's cooking there in the fourth. Like, what are you doing?
It was so ugly.
So my biggest disappointment is actually Nurse. I thought about saying Fred, but I don't think Fred's being put in like a major winning position. Like we're just out. Okay, I was at the game last night, and there was one series of like 5 minutes, I think, where we were outsized at every single position. And with our roster, like that's just not necessary. Like we don't need Norm to play the 3. We don't need Fred to play the 2 or Kyle to play the 2. And I just think the 2 point guard lineup is fine, but it's meant to get Lowry going, and he's not the main point of our offense now. So. And then on top of that, you got Siakam and Kawhi just kind of driving and kicking, which worked perfectly in game 1. Yeah. But clearly adjustments were made, and not tethering Gasol to Embiid to me just doesn't make sense because it seems like Serge can't really hang with Embiid without fouling him. Yeah. And Gasol is doing like a great job. So and like as far as minutes, Gasol played 34 minutes or something in game 2. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand why he would stick with his rotation week when he could see that, Brett Brown was like pulling out all this funky stuff.
Yeah, and Brett Brown kept his starters at least 3 starters on for like, what was it, only like 4 minutes they didn't play altogether or something like that. Like, that's what you got to do to win, and I don't think Philly can outlast us in this because like it took so many of these things for them to get this W. They needed that to happen. We needed to shoot 27% from 3-point line, which is like, I don't know. We've been killing it since like post All-Star week.
Yeah, we scored 89 points.
Yeah,
like I can't imagine that happening.
We couldn't hit our threes, and Danny Green was missing a whole bunch of bunnies that he should have been making from not bunnies, but like threes that he should have been making regularly. So. Yeah, I just think it was the perfect storm for Philly and like the worst fucking day of my life yesterday. So
good. I mean, no, sorry, not good about the worst day of your life. I kind of think it was the perfect storm too, in the way that in the way that we didn't score.
Yeah, and that's a positive. If we didn't get beat, we beat ourselves.
Yeah, and I feel like there's things that they can improve on Philly still. Like I could see Butler having a even more efficient game potentially. And also,
James Ennis needs to have like fucking amazing game too. When Monroe started popping off, that's my disappointment of the game because I was there and I got mad because like there was people in my section who clearly like they paid a lot. And it was like their first time there, and I was like one of that that season lifer guy.
10 points in the first quarter.
He had like 35 points in the first half. No, he basically like if he didn't sprain his ankle, I think they would have beat us by 50 points. No, but Monroe was going off and it made me so mad.
He's playing with an edge.
Alex, any more disappointments?
Monroe and Ennis, man, you can't let those guys go off. It gave that team so much confidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Embiid was sick and he was farting. I don't know what the injury report was, but
pooping his pants.
Once those guys got going, especially Monroe, the bench and the starters, they got so amped up. It was just, fuck's sakes, man. It was just frustrating.
Okay, Alan, I'm going to jump to you on this. We might have already touched on it, but what went right for Philly? So, like, did everything go right? Because they still shot inefficiently.
Yeah.
I thought actually, wait, let me just say disappointment. The last play was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Not like, whether Kyle tried to put it between Harris's legs or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a rough look. And then also Danny Green getting the wide open shot and missing it. That was disappointing, but I was still, being in the arena, I was pretty jacked. Like, I was pretty happy with Kyle's game. Generally, he hit those 2 big threes, and I thought Kyle was fierce on D. Like, I thought the Raptors played good D. But sorry, I jumped on my own question.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's what do you think went right for Philly?
What went right? The defensive matches, the different looks that they threw Kawhi, like having Simmons kind of guard him because, like, Butler is too short. And just their that whole lineup where, Tobias on Marcus Gasol, Embiid on Siakam, and that matchup worked. It confused them out the gate, and the Raptors are a team that usually, like, they come back in the third, fourth, but if you set a tone from the beginning, that sets a tone for the entire game. So
totally, and we had a couple near comebacks, but Philly's a team that can really. I think they got embarrassed in the first game, and I think Butler is the type of guy when he gets embarrassed, is hyper competitive. So
he's still a punk B though. So
he's still a punk B. Like, Butler, I know you listen, and I know you hate that, but I'm sorry.
I tweeted at him twice today, so he'll see it.
Okay, good.
He'll see it.
Alex, what went right for Philly? Or if it's everything went right, that's okay too.
Not everything went right, but definitely getting Butler, like him. What do you have? 30 points, and he had like a lot of clutch, fourth quarter points. I think getting him going, because he is their guy. He's their closer. I mean, Embiid's the best player, and Simmons is Mr. Do Everything type thing. But now that he's got that confidence that he's like the closer, like that was his role, and he got going in that role, and I think that gives that team a lot of confidence. Because that was their problem going into the series, is like defined roles for everybody. And Butler stepped up yesterday, and he did it. He got the win. He was clutched in the fourth. So it was sort of just them sort of finding a groove for their team. Sort of scares me a little bit.
Right. I mean, like, I think after that first game, you have basically all of basketball. Like all the analysts everywhere were saying, "Oh, is it a sweep?"
Yeah,
and people were already thinking maybe 5 games.
Yeah.
So it was such a thorough beatdown, and I think that what went right, like the thing that went really right for me for Philly was they've now like Brett Brown can go back to the his team and be like, "Great, we made Siakam shoot 9 for 25. So we know we can stop him." I think that they might just accept they can't stop Kawhi and try and, continue to double team him and make him make good passes out of the double team. Yeah. Because that's one thing I noticed too.
Kawhi's not a great passer.
He's not great. And his passes are really heavy. Like a couple times he got double team and he just whipped it right at like Lowry's knee. One time, Gasol had to like jump for it. And I was like, this is not a guy he's played in a Spurs system in a really kind of like opportunistic thing. He hasn't really played on a team where it's like, okay, you go wild, then they'll just go insane trying to stop you. Then you have to find the right person. And I don't think Kawhi is a bad passer, but I don't think he's that used to, playing iso ball in a series. Yeah. Where
he's got to take over the reins.
Yeah, exactly. The next step. Is making those nice passes. But yeah, I thought they did a great job on Siakam. And I think Siakam's so hungry that he's the type of guy that I'd kind of be surprised if they stopped him again. But
he'll be back. He was, when you get Embiid, he was a little like tentative, not tentative, where he was just kind of pulled back, especially on his drives and like those little bunnies, little floaters. He was like afraid of Embiid. He just kept like putting them high and wide, and I was like, just take it in, put chest to chest, get the foul.
Whoa, the first play of the game too, he gave him like full spicy shaking.
Yeah, the little
it was wild.
Like keep that going.
No, I think I think Allen's right. He was like hesitating on those little floaters. He usually doesn't think twice to do. Because game one, it was easy peasy for the guy. He was just hitting everything. But then, once you throw Embiid coming at you with his long ass arms, you just start double guessing yourself, and it sort of threw him off his timing and everything. And I mean, he got back into the groove in like the fourth, but that first half he was a little sluggish, except for that move, that little shake and bake on the baseline over there or wherever it was. But yeah, I think Allen's right. Like, just Siakam just got a little spooked by Embiid's like presence.
But it's all good. It's all good. Nothing to worry about, right?
It's going to 6.
No,
it's going to 6. I can tell.
Oh yeah, they got it.
Alex, I'll go to you first. What's the key going forward for the Raptors? Like maybe key for Game 3, but also the series. Like what's good? Is it the battle of the boards? Is it corner threes? Like what? Or is it a certain matchup?
Yeah. I think it's our corner threes and our. I mean, I think we had a lot of good looks, especially in the second half. It's just, for whatever reason, we just couldn't knock them down. Again, I think we did have a little bit of lack of focus yesterday, just because how well Game 1 went. And I think we're going to be fine, honestly. But it's just definitely you got to hit your open shots, and I think that's what our problem was yesterday. So
right.
Just going forward, I think it's just like a bit of a mental thing. But yeah, really, that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Just to kind of add on to that, I feel like as far as hitting open shots too, it's got to be, you have to keep their defense guessing. Like, there was a really, really nice play when the ball started swinging around. Norm got it, and you just assume it was going to the next guy, and he faked it. And Ennis was like running, and Norm just canned the three. And I'm like, wow, that's what we need from our role players. Yeah. We need our role players to do stuff like that, and that's the difference between being like a contender and like maybe going all the way.
And that's the thing about role players is you don't need everyone to do like a million things. You just need just do one thing good. Just once in a while.
Yes.
And if we can just get that type of consistency.
What's your key going forward?
Consistency. I think we need to, like, okay, you did well. Okay, we'll do it again the next game. Okay, you did it again. Okay, do it again the next game. And not these.
And it sucks because we have Kawhi, who's so inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shame. I feel so sorry for Kawhi. I think this is one of those things where, like, this might scare him off. He's like, not everybody wants to bring their big boy pants every game. Well, I'm going to go somewhere else where everyone's more professional, And it really showed out when, like, it's Van Vliet, Ibaka, and who else was shooting really horribly?
I think Ibaka finished with 2 points.
Danny Green.
Yeah, Danny Green missed a whole bunch, but that's part of it. He shot those misses, and he's not going to miss again. So let's see.
No, he's not. No,
he's going to hit everything from here on out. But yeah, I just think if the Raptors can just don't take that loss to heart, and then the next game, right out the game, punch him in the mouth, and maintain that kind of control over the series, and let Kawhi do what he's got to do, and same with Pascal Siakam. I think we should be able to take him to 6.
Yeah, my key is I just think that we need to use Gasol more. He took 6 shots.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 1 for 4 from 3. And I was listening to the Dunked On podcast, and one thing they were saying too is with Gasol is like the whole point there is Embiid doesn't really want to cover you if you stand further out. So we need Gasol. Like, he's shooting like a blistering 3-point percentage in the playoffs. So if I'm Nurse, I'm like, dude, you need to shoot like 10 threes tonight. Yeah. Like, even just if you miss 10 threes, that's okay. Like, it will become a thing. And like we just need to make Embiid think that.
Yeah. Because once he's out of the key.
Once he's out of the key, everything changes. Yeah. And being at the game, you can see that. He's such a giant, and he's not slow, that it's wild. It's just wild to watch. It's like I think Gobert has the same effect, where it's like this guy who just like blankets the court.
Yeah, and he was playing weak side defense and still helping out in the key.
Yes.
Just a couple steps over.
Totally. And there's a couple Siakam drives where he wasn't even the primary defender, and he just like waved his giant arm, and it disrupted the shot.
I'm pretty sure like light goes out a little bit. You can't see. He's just blocking all of it. Yeah.
And when I went to grab like food at halftime, he was there ahead of everyone, holding up the line,
just boxing out.
Yeah, and he's like, "I got gastro." And we're like, "That's weird." Like,
don't you guys have one in the change room? God damn,
man, how'd you get up here that fast? Okay, before we hit the NBA, Are you ready for another Tell Me Something I Don't Know, Matt?
Okay. Are we doing your cannons too?
Oh, that's after, buddy.
Goodness.
It's going to get canon wild after this, and that's a promise.
Cannon wild.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Tell me something I don't know about beloved Raptor, Kevin Willis.
Kevin Willis. You remember him?
Do I remember Kevin Willis?
Was he a big deal? It was before my time as a Raptors
Kevin
fan.
Willis was pure Vince Carter era. He had really short arms, which was a bit weird for a guy his size. He always has these elbow pads.
Love them.
He looked like a...
You look like your dad playing pickup.
Yeah, but he was good though.
Oh, yeah.
He had tricks. Sorry.
He had a very long career. He played about 160 games for the Raps.
They're going to say years.
For 160 years.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds right.
He's the one true Raptor.
He's an ent.
Did you know that he is actually like the oldest to play in the NBA?
What do you mean?
Like he played at 44 years old.
Okay.
Which is the oldest. Now, there is someone ahead of him, but it's not really fair to compare him to him. There was a player named Nat Hickey. Do you remember Nat Hickey?
No.
Okay, so
I don't know any of this.
Nat Hickey was a player in 1948.
Okay.
Scratch that. He was a coach who activated himself for 2 games.
Okay.
Just short of his 46th birthday. So
Nat
technically,
Hickey rocks.
Nat Hickey for the Providence
First of all, fake names. You know what I mean? Like,
So not Hickey.
but after Nat Hickey, it's Kevin Willis and actually.
okay, well, you're already at an A++.
That's a big
one.
Vince is coming for him. Vince is 42 and change.
Was Kevin Willis 44 on the Raptors?
No,
Felt
he was
like
actually.
Yeah.
Was he 26?
No.
Don't lie to me.
His last season was the 2006-2007 season. He played for Dallas.
The Hawks.
And it was the year.
Sorry, that the Hawks sounded like Alex was falling off a cliff.
He did play for the Hawks for a long time. But yeah, so he played, and it was, I guess, the year that Dallas got bounced in the first round. It was a big deal. They were a favorite.
That was fun.
Did you know that he also has a big and tall clothing company in Atlanta?
No, cheers.
Yeah. And when
That's
he was
just
a player,
classy.
So his mom was a seamstress, and that's what got him into fashion and stuff and making clothing. When was it Daniel Stern? No, that's the guy from
Home Alone.
Yeah, it was the bushwhacker, Daniel Stern.
David Stern.
The wet
When
bandit.
when David Stern came through with that dress code in 2005, Kevin Willis approached him and was like, "You're hurting my business here. I sell clothing to all the players, and now I got to be dressy. Guys don't want to be so dressy and everything." So he found a way to do a dressier denim, which,
Cheers.
our guest last week, Jess, would have really appreciated.
Yeah. Jess, if you're listening, you're the denim god, but
Yep.
heads up, Kevin Willis he's got his own thing going on.
Yeah. No wonder this guy's in the league for 78 years. The guy's styling half the players.
That's true.
Just you sign me, and you just making pitches to guys. Guys, I see what you're working with.
Yeah.
Let me hook you up. All
And I
right.
mean, he played with the Spurs, so I'm like, he could have worked on Tim Duncan, but I guess he didn't.
Tim Duncan
he
has
wasn't
the
into it.
worst fashion.
Oh no, I'm sure he's like, Duncan, I got an idea. When you retire, become a professional fighter and grow dreads and surprise everyone with how you look. Because if you've seen Duncan, it's wild.
Is that what's going on now?
Pure David Letterman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like when you see David Letterman with the big beard, you're like, is that
what?
Tim Duncan?
Is that what you always look like inside?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Alex, have you seen Tim Duncan?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Honestly, Google
going on with
image
this guy?
current Tim Duncan and you'll have a laugh.
It was the man who night, right?
I don't know why I'm so nervous.
No, he's safe. He's safe. Okay, I think before we launch into my thing, Matt, would you give me that NBA sting?
Yeah, I will give you that sting, but I will just to say with Nat Hickey.
Yeah.
With Nat Hickey, so he was the coach in the BAA, which merged with the NBL to make the National Basketball.
Wow. Matt's on fire.
Okay.
That was an A+++++.
Took us left, took us right. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's a playoff.
Yeah.
Tell me something I don't know.
It's clutch.
And may I say, it usually pisses me off, but I want you to have a victory lap. Can you give me Adam Silver in the tugboat?
This is Adam Silver.
Still doesn't make any sense at all why you have a tugboat sound. But you know what? I wanted to give that to you because you rocked
Thanks,
it.
I appreciate it.
Okay, before we talk about some NBA stuff, I got some more Raps playoff playoff stats for you. You ready for another Hunger Games?
Yeah, let's get close to that cannon.
Okay, here we go.
No earplugs.
So there's been a little bit of a quiet on the Surge block front.
Oh.
There's been a little bit of quiet on the Danny Green 3 front. That's right. And there's been thank you. And there's been also a little bit of quiet on the Kawhi Steele front. So, the podcaster I am, I found some other cool stuff. So I'm calling this segment Marc Gasol's free ones. Because Mark's making some moves on the all-time free throws made list.
Really?
In the playoffs. Yeah, Kawhi's ahead of him, but I can't have Kawhi on too many things. He's just a beast. Okay, so since I didn't do it last pod, we're going to start from the beginning of the playoffs.
Okay.
So Marc Gasol started with 290 playoff free throws made at 144th. And now he has 297. He's hit 7 free throws.
Nice.
Since the playoffs started, he has passed Rick Smits, Anthony Hardaway, Billy Pultz, Daryl Dawkins, Hersey Hawkins. The snap's killing me. Michael Cooper, Danny Ainge, and perhaps only temporarily, Paul Millsap. He now sits at 136 all-time playoffs free throws made, and he's coming for Jermaine O'Neal.
Wow, that's a lot of cannons today.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm at a Columbus Blue Jackets game.
Hey, nice one.
Did they do that there?
They set a cannon off every time they score.
Oh, okay, that's got to be a no.
Cheers. Yeah, but no, my idea is cooler. Yeah, thanks. I probably had that idea before Columbus or whatever. So yeah, no worries. Okay, Alan, let's get going on some NBA stuff. So,
like a real cannon.
Yeah, it's not loaded. They only shoot
that's
it
not loaded. I know that.
But yeah.
But it's like an old timer.
A Civil War, I'm sure, replica.
Columbus Blue Jackets. I remember they were expanded. Or expansion?
Yeah, they're
It's apparently
team.
just insane. It's apparently so loud and crazy.
Good, as a cannon should be, sir.
Good for Columbus.
Yeah.
Where's
They
Columbus?
got a
Ohio.
Oh, it's Ohio.
They got a brewery for the Milwaukee Bucks or the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay. I messed that up. Whatever.
All right.
Some Bucks for the Brewers,
Okay.
some Brewers for the Bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, I'm going to start with you on this one. So Golden State, Houston is really bringing out the whole players versus refs thing. I know there was also like a major podcast. I don't know if it's Radiolab, but it was kind of focused on the rise of players complaining to refs and how hard it is to be a ref and the 94% accuracy and all that kind of stuff. And I guess I'm just wondering, like, do you think it's getting worse? Or should something be done about it? Or is this like a natural kind of like part of the game?
Was that me or Alan?
Sorry, that was you, Alex.
The whole 2-minute report thing is hilarious to me. Why even give that information out? We missed 78 calls in 2 minutes. Like, well, what's the point of that? It makes no sense to me. They need a fourth ref. Like, just get another ref. You can't do replays in basketball, right? Obviously. Because, discretion and stuff like that, you can't do replays. But a lot of there's some of these calls have been like really inconsistent, right? Like Klay Thompson, like jumping into Harden. And then yesterday, like Danny Green did not jump into Jimmy Butler and they called that. But, Thompson jumps into Harden, they call that. So just get a fourth official. I think that would, just another set of eyes would help a lot, right? Because, again, video replays out of the question. So I just think a lot of that, and it's getting worse for sure. Just what did they do in the report? They said that they missed, like, Houston got screwed like 80% of the time, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
they said they missed a lot of calls
last year, though.
But the key three.
Oh, the key three. Oh, yeah.
But Alan, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but I guess answer this question as well, and then bring up what Houston's been doing.
Yeah. I think it's really gone too far. And I here's the thing. I'm 100% for challenge. Get the ref or the coach to challenge a play. I think you should be able to challenge anything, and if you get it wrong, you get penalized a timeout. I don't care how fast these games are going. Just fucking, I want the right game. I don't give a shit. So if a referee or if the coach goes, no, that didn't happen, you're just calling this game because you want XYZ to win, well, let's replay it. Let's look it over from every angle, and then let's actually talk about it and get the right call instead of these L2M reports a week later saying, yeah, we fucked over the Raptors. We're sorry.
It's always the Raptors, too. I remember in Atlanta when they actually shaved a point. Yeah. Do you remember that? It was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, by the way, like the Raptors just like had a point that was never counted. Anyway, sorry. That's a deep, painful memory I just brought up.
They just keep fucking us over. And so, yeah, get some challenge flags out there. Challenge these plays. Let's make this game. I don't care if it takes 3 hours. Fuck, who cares? You probably get more in commercials for that, NBA. Like I don't know why fearing taking longer to get the game right is any issue. They do it in soccer now. There's a VR replay in soccer. So I'm like, if soccer is being able to like take on like the technology and all that shit, forward thinking, then why can't the NBA, that the leading league in the world, why can't they do this shit? And and to follow up on that thing, what Houston did, they did a whole report of last year, and was a 2017 final or 17-18 finals against Warriors, and all these calls that they said they weren't called, they just like brought a whole report about it.
Yeah,
which is the best timing, the absolute best timing. Right after that, like shitty game against the Warriors.
It's definitely it definitely seems like Houston is expecting to not get the call.
Yeah,
definitely thinks they're being screwed, and is like is really playing the media for like, hey, we need to like say this from day one that this team has an unfair advantage, like as well as having the refs on their side.
Yeah.
So
well, think about it. That's a smart idea, because if everyone's talking about it, guess what? We're all watching the next game and we're going to go, look, see what you're doing. You're doing the thing that they said you did. So now for them not to do that, they're going to have to like let some of these things go against them, you know, like.
So are either of you guys like, do you, like, it seems like a lot of people have hit like a boiling point as far as like the NBA and being frustrated by kind of like players like mouthing off. Like when you watch a game, like either of you, when you watch the Golden State Houston game, were you mad at the players, or were you mad at just like the play of the game being like a bunch of arguments?
I wasn't mad at the play of the game with the arguments. I sympathize with Chris Paul in that play, you know, and you know, that was bullshit. He got fouled by Klay Thompson and the ref didn't do anything. They just let that go because I don't know. I think I don't know. Whenever like Tony Brothers or any of these guys are out there, never too happy. But that wasn't Brothers that night. That was what's his name?
No, I think Tony Brothers is actually doing the next game.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Which is hilarious. Yeah. Alex, do you think like the quality is it affecting your enjoyment of the game? This stuff, or is this just like the narrative of the week?
Not really. Not me personally, but I could see, you know, fair weather basketball fans who would be up, like, you know, if you're giving basketball or the NBA a chance, right? It definitely bothers them because they're just always like, oh, everyone's complaining and, you know, there's no consistency. But me personally, I mean, I love basketball, so it's not going to change my view. But anybody else who's sort of like, you know, that average fair weather fan probably gets annoyed and stuff like that. But, you know, it sucks when Chris Paul got fouled and then he's like complaining to the ref. And then, you know, I forget who it was, Draymond Green, he scored like on a fast break and stuff like that. Yeah, that's annoying. Like, you know, get back and complain when there's a whistle or something. But outside of that, no, I'm not really. Doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, I love how players will complain like that's gonna ever reverse the call.
I know.
Yeah, it's. I've never seen anybody.
Yeah.
When I watch Lowry walk over to refs during a timeout, or Mark Gasol does that too. It's kind of like a team captain thing. All I can think is that they are banking on it paying off later.
Yeah, it's like when the coach gets a tee. But
I always also feel like, couldn't that bank in the other direction? Like if a ref's just like, oh, I just need a moment. And like someone comes over to you and they're like, I need to know why you called this. Yeah. And they're so mad. And your actual explanation actually like it doesn't do anything for them. Like they just pout and like walk away.
Yeah.
I wonder if a ref you're like, I thought you were being serious.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like how much sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do like when players like tell the ref like, hey, look for this. This guy's hooking me,
Right.
or something like that. I don't like when they get mad or they like, I didn't hit him, I didn't do this. But when a player comes over and calmly just goes, hey, this guy's doing this. He's putting his elbow in me and he's swinging his arm. He's hooking me. Then sort of I think they respect that a little bit more because, they're humans too. And they're like, okay, I'll look for that type thing. So,
well, it also,
I think there's a difference between that and yelling at the ref.
Yeah.
Gets you nowhere.
When I ref this tournament and I had an edible. I shouldn't have done it because my buddy was like, hey, you want an edible? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll eat it with you. And I ate it with him. And I was like, oh, shit, I got to work. But I'm like, you know what? I eat edibles and play basketball. That's easy. But playing basketball and reffing basketball are two different things. You need to be aware of a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. So reffing must have been tough, dude.
I called a shitty game. Yeah. They were getting very mad at me. And rightfully so.
They're like, you stole the ball from me, sir.
Tea.
Yeah. Tea. I'm getting a tea. No, you're teeing yourself and you're just eating popcorn? Oh, wow. Okay. This guy's weird.
But 100% people were complaining at me. And I was like, all right, calm down. And then I would make up some fully makeup calls on the next end to balance shit
I
out.
like it.
Just because I didn't know what else to do.
I like embracing that you're like a makeup call ref.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no worries, get you on the other end. And you're just constantly doing makeup calls. Like, oh, honestly, I blew that one. Don't worry, though, I got you.
You're going to get free throws. So you're going to get free throws, all right? You're totally right. I was totally looking at the sky. The sky looked really beautiful, okay?
Okay, let's do...
Alan, do you ever go crazy with like the block and the charge? I would love to do that if I was around.
Get a little
run in there, the old
oh my God.
The
block and then the motion to when the ref starts running the other way, being like, the game's over here now, boys. Yeah, it's one of the best... gyrations.
They know it's their moment. They're like, oh, this is going to change a lot. And then they do that.
Yeah.
Now, when I called it, I would blow the whistle. Everyone look at me. I'd be like, charge? And then half of the people would be very angry at me. That's pretty much the game I called. No confidence.
All right, let's do some NBA quick hitters here before we move on to the last section. I mean, if you guys don't have an answer for this, that's cool. But Mr. Pavone, I'm going to start with you. Do you have like a most exciting player versus player matchup in the second round? I know we're like, positionless basketball and it's not necessarily head to head, but yeah.
It is positionless because you see like Giannis against Kyrie,
right?
Jokic against Lillard, but I definitely love watching CP3 and Steph Curry play.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Crossed them up a bunch of times and just like destroyed them. After everyone was saying that CP3 was this is years ago, saying he's the best point guard in the league and this and that, and then Curry just overtook him. I feel like Paul's always out to like just fucking get Curry just one time, and they're always a fun matchup.
Yeah, totally,
especially because they're both point guards.
You got one, Alan?
Yeah, I like Horford versus
that was mine.
Giannis.
That was mine.
I don't understand why Giannis can't dunk on him, but yeah.
Well, because Horford's just this ground bound, like he's so good. I mean,
I've seen Giannis do this to Drummond, and Drummond's a bigger dude.
But I feel like Horford is this guy, like he played Embiid off the court last year. He just seems to be this guy that is like whatever in the regular season, but when the playoffs start, if I'm not playing LeBron, I win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's just like, I'll figure out how to win unless LeBron's there.
LeBron's awesome. Yeah. But like it's just Horford he's just so sharp. He plays angles so well, and he like Drummond is more athleticism than Horford, but Horford's just so sharp and like canny with his like footwork and stuff. He's probably the most underrated player in the NBA in probably the past decade. He is so good.
What, Al Horford? He's so
good.
He's so underrated. He's so amazing.
When it's all said and done, I think he's going to get all his due props.
I think so. I mean, he's just been on so many good teams. Yeah. And he's that like defensive anchor. He's the most important defensive part of your team as well, That was my matchup. I was half thinking like Harden Curry because of the positionless basketball thing too, but the Paul Curry thing's a better answer. Yeah. So I'm just going to let the guests have this one. But Alan, what's just another kind of quick hitter here. Of the 8 teams that were eliminated, who has the best outlook going forward? And you can take this from like the micro or macro, like just like kind of snapshot. Who do you think is?
I think long answer. I want to say Spurs because Pop signed that 3 years, so they're good. And doesn't matter what happens.
That's a nice one. The 3 years is because everyone's like, is he gone?
Yeah,
but 3 years is big.
That's a lot, and 3 years is enough time to course correct what they need to do. So they're fine. But I want to say Brooklyn. I think like what Kenny Atkins is doing out there, and with that young squad, and what they're how Karis LeVert has stepped up.
They've dug themselves out officially.
Yeah. And they're definitely gonna I wouldn't be like the next season they're gonna be probably like 4th or 5th in the Eastern Conference. They're gonna make their way up. So yeah, they're on the right trajectory. I feel
cool. Alex, you got one?
Mine was the exact opposite. I was going to say Brooklyn first. I don't know how we did the order actually now, come to think of it. But Brooklyn, I think they're just like one free agent away. Russell, to me, I think he's your like number 2 option, like your best number 2 option going forward. Yeah. So if they just get they snag 1 star in free agency, they're cooking. But yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Pop just signed the 3-year thing. They had a couple injuries in preseason, right? Murray, what's his name? Dejounte Murray?
Yeah, Dejounte Murray, yeah.
Yeah, I think the J is not silent, right? Dejounte.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
When you have Pop the helm, man, you're always like in good shape. Yeah. And I think, a year with DeRozan and Aldridge, even though they sort of, always sort of screw up a bit in the playoffs, I'll always take the Spurs. I've underestimated them way too much in the mid-2000s to ever bet against Pop.
It's true.
A lot of money lost.
My team, and I don't know if this is just like me running a podcast every week and trying to create a hot take, but I feel like I do genuinely believe that it was embarrassing, but the Thunder are not in as bad of a place as people think. I think having Russ locked up and Paul George locked up for those amount of years leaves them in a place where they're going to have some serious talent. And I think as long as Russ doesn't become like full Iverson, and I don't think he's going to, I think he'll adjust at some point where he won't take a million shots.
I don't think he will. I think...
Yeah, that might be the end of my like hopeful outlook. Just someone being like, I don't think he'll change, and me being like, true.
If Westbrook could like become a 2, I think that would just work so well for his game. If he attacks people from the off-ball point, he runs off the ball and doesn't control every possession and choose who scores because he's not divvying it the ball the way a point guard should. There's definitely a motive with the ball. There's not like, it's not just like free flowing Spurs basketball where it's just like, it just got to go in. We don't care who does it, but Westbrook has it. He's like, oh, this is how we're going to score. And
he was like, I have my own analytics. Yeah. It's like anti-math.
Exactly.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, and
that's bad. Yeah.
And you ever see when a play's not called for Westbrook? It's not called for Westbrook. He's not even showing. He's got his hands on his knees. He's in the corner just chilling in that weak spot. He's not, his screens are pretty weak. It's
he had like some insane stat where like there was one year where he had like 1 screen assist.
Yeah.
Which is like, yikes.
Yeah, you got to do something different, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Having those players locked up is really dope. But what is it? They need something.
And I think though, I guess I'm coming fresh off of the like everyone being like trade McCollum, trade Lillard. Like sometimes you have a bad showing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And sometimes Paul George was injured or whatever, and like I don't think they're going to be.
You fire Billy Donovan?
Honestly, maybe. Like they said his job is safe, which to me, I'm like,
why?
Why? Yeah, why? Like you need a Russ whisperer.
Yeah.
So if that's not a Russ whisperer, then their job shouldn't be safe.
I think Mike Malone will be a Russ whisperer. Just because
Mike Malone's dope.
Yeah.
Although he's coaching.
Yeah, he's an awesome coach.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we do this last segment, and Alex, you might not be able to stick around for it, but I am going to hit you with my last playoff stats, and then we'll see how you're doing. Is that good?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, sick. All right, so I hope you guys are ready for this, and this is basically a Kawhi appreciation moment. Okay, so we're waiting on the Kawhi steals,
right?
But Kawhi, the God, is making some moves on the all-time playoff points list.
Okay.
And I hadn't included it because he's doing so much other good stuff, but this just needs to be appreciated. Matt, are you ready?
Yeah, the can is loaded.
Oh, cannon better be loaded. Okay. So, Kawhi started the playoffs with 1,432 points. And he was at 137th all-time. And he now has 1,651 points in 6 games.
Yeah.
So since the playoffs, Kawhi has passed Detlef Schrempf, Kenyon Martin, Dan Marley, Bill Sharman, Ricky Pierce, Gail Godrich, Walter Davis, Clifford Robinson, Amari Stoudemire, Jack Sikma, Billy Paltz, Willie Wise, Vlade Divac, Rajon Rondo, Earl Monroe, J.R. Smith, Maurice Lucas, Sidney Moncrief, LaMarcus Aldridge, Chris Webber, Richard Jefferson, Sean Marion, Sean Kemp, Paul George, Michael Finley, Dave DeBouchier, Rick Smits, Dick Barnett, Charles Oakley, Jerome Kersey, Adrian Dantley, Don Nelson, Michael Cooper, Al Horford, Vince Carter, and Tayshaun Prince. Kawhi Leonard is tied with Lou Dampier for 100th all-time in playoff points scored. And guess what?
Oh, my God.
He's coming for number 99, Sam Cassell.
They're going to say Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, he's coming for Wayne Gretzky.
I like how that cannon took different times to load.
Yeah, that cannon.
It was rapid, and then, it was like...
Yeah, that was the Battle of Winterfell right there, baby.
Them Thrones.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Quickish Questions. Alex, how you feeling? This usually takes about 10. So if you got a jet, that's cool.
I can do it. I can do the 10.
Oh, he's doing it.
Do it. Ready?
He's doing
After those cannons?
I think I knew the cannons got him fired up. Oh, God. Okay. Well, I'm a nerd, eh? Oh, God. I just literally let out a real, oh, God. Okay, Matt, will you give me that Quickish Question sting? That's some wonderful work, Matt. Okay, so, Alan, Alex, you guys know the deal here. I'm going to try and read some questions. Hopefully they make sense. And I just winked at Alan's phone, felt cool. And you guys got to answer as quick as you possibly can. And that's the deal. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Alan.
Yo.
First one's for you. With the game on the line, Lowry chose the wrong time to try and nutmeg Tobias Harris. What's something you've done at an inopportune time? Not an edible.
I was really going to say the edible. What did I do at an inopportune time? I've definitely pooped when I shouldn't poop. I've done that before many times.
I hear that. Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Matty D, my producer.
Yo.
Playoffs? More like play-ons. What's your hot take from Rockets and Warriors game 1? What's in store for the rest of the series?
Ooh. I want to say that it's going to be a tight series going to 7, but I think the Warriors are just going to make it look like done in 5.
Okie doke. Alex Pavone.
I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, you better get ready. Okay, here we go. Yeah, sorry. This is me messing up. Okay, this reader has been on some existential journeys while watching the Raptors and judging Nurse's choices. What form does your pre/during/post-game Raptors everything will be okay meditation take?
Oh, it's a lot of jog jams. There ain't no meditation. Stop. I start my day with jock jams and it don't stop.
Okay, I just love that. You don't meditate, you just get more jacked.
I get more jacked.
Okay, Alan.
No time to calm down.
Alan. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. If it happened today, would a team given flubber automatically have an advantage in the playoffs?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it would.
Easy answer. Okay.
See people like Zach Randolph just jumping, grabbing the top of the backboard. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah. And they just they have one good game and then ACL tears the rest of it. Okay.
It's the landing.
Matt.
Yes.
Should halftime performances have trampoline teams competing against each other?
Oh, like slam ball.
Yes.
Yeah. I would be down with some slam ball.
Right?
For sure.
Okay, good
I would
answer.
love to see some slam ball.
But yeah, like I want to see people that can handle it. Oh, just dunks.
Alex, if you made a series-winning, buzzer-beating shot like Dame did, how would you taunt the opposing team?
I'd go over there, double kiss everybody on the bench.
Like just Italian kiss them?
Yeah, double kiss. Left to right.
I love it. Just like all 15 players and the 2 guys on 2-way contracts too?
Yeah, and the athletic director.
Oh, I love it.
Whatever his name is, the guy who folds the towel.
Just smooch the hell out of Alexander McKechnie. Okay,
That's confusing people.
all right, Alan. Who would be the ideal player to have on the Raptors bench right now?
Michael Jordan.
I mean, it's a pretty good answer, right? Like at his current age, though. Yeah.
Bench wise, who do we need? We need another big. So
Don't say Greg Monroe.
No.
Biombo.
Yeah, just someone who can grab rebounds and just fight and just Tyler Hansbrough.
Ooh, I like
Bringing
that.
Bringing it back just for the series.
Matt.
Yeah.
When is the NBA going to take action against players on offense kicking their legs at defending players in an attempt to get free throws?
Oh boy, I'm gonna put that into in the next collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, that's right on Matt's alley. Clearly, take it easy, bud. Okay, Alex, will you feel more?
Still nervous.
Yeah, you still nervous? Okay, here you go. I'm nervous too. I stutter a lot, guys. Alex, will you feel more comforted about last night's loss if Boston gets their asses handed to them tonight in Milwaukee?
Absolutely. I like both series being the exact same. I don't like when a team takes a commanding series lead and we're tied. I do not like that.
Yeah.
Listen to my voice. I'm quivering. 1-1, please.
I like it. Okay, Alan. What up with Fred? He's been so lackluster. I'm starting to think he's really playing through an injury or something that maybe we don't know about. I don't know. He just ain't right. Thoughts?
Yeah, it could be an injury. I just think maybe he's got the yips. I think it's bright lights, man.
He's got the yips.
Too important. It's too important.
Okay, Matty D. Why haven't they released the Boucher?
Chris Boucher?
That's right, the
Bobby.
Boucher.
I would think, isn't he hurt or something? I feel like he must be hurt.
I think actually I just heard today from actually responses from this question that he might have an injury, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he's hurt and they don't want to put him out there because, having an injury can be not great.
Okay, Alex, I don't know if you're still nervous, but this is a hot question. I read it, and the Facebook symbol I gave was the O face. I was like, pardon me? All right. Is Nurse gone if the Raptors get bounced before the finals?
No. What did he say?
He said no. And I think no is the easy answer, but I just said it was a hot question because, woo, we're amped up with those types of questions.
Yeah, somebody said he needs to be fired in the group.
Oh, really?
Didn't somebody say that?
I didn't say that. I thought he had a bad game, but I mean...
No, but somebody wrote that in the group, I think. So I was like, calm down.
Needs to be fired, yeah. I gave Casey a lot of time. I want to give Nurse a lot of time, too.
Yeah.
Gotta support you guys. Okay, last question here. Alan. Oh, hilarious. It was just literally a accidental repeat of the last question. So there is no last question. And that's the end of the pod. Alex, I know you got to go.
Yes.
You're always doing shows. You got a podcast,
Friends in Sports.
I was gonna say Sporty Bras, which was Dylan and Graham's old one. Yeah, but
you do that every time.
Do I?
Is Dylan Gott fucking throwing you money to throw you under the bus?
Honestly,
second time.
I don't know if anyone here knows friend of the pod, Dylan Gott, but he's rich and he'll Doug Ford you. He'll give you some 20s here and there. Yeah, it's good stuff. Dylan's are super rich. But so sorry, Alex.
Friends in Sports podcast with a very funny Graham K. And I have another podcast. Can I promote the other podcast?
Of course.
Quickly. It's called Party Mom. It's comics, myself, Michael Albanese, Chris Scopo, roommates. We're not doing great as a house. And we interview a special guest, and we interview our mothers, and they tell us stories about how they partied. One of our moms, Chris Scopo's mom, admitted she did coke a couple weeks ago. So it's a good time.
Whoa, that's a big release on a pod.
I just subscribed to Party Mom.
Party Mom,
on iTunes.
Friends in Sports. I like to listen
Party
to that
Mom
one.
pod.
Sweet. Alan, what's up, man? You're
busy,
all over.
man.
You're doing tons of shit.
Yeah.
Where do you want people to check you out?
You can check me out on Twitter, the Alan Shane, and then on Instagram at Alan Shane. Yeah, I'm doing some stuff. I have a show actually May 12th. I'm not going to be there, but you can go to it. It'll be good.
Nice. Support the guy. He's not supporting himself. Support the guy.
I'm in Montreal, but so you show up to that show, give those guys an awesome support. What am I saying anymore?
Yeah. What's the show?
It's called Rice and Peas and Comedies. So it's the second Sunday of every month. It's me and my co-host Conrad Osei. We just make it really weird and it's fun.
Good.
But you also get rice and peas with the show. You get some jerk chicken. So
Nice.
I mean, that's just downright wonderful.
yeah, you get fed. All right, we feed you. We feed you at this show. So come out, come hungry, come high, and laugh.
Beautiful.
That's all on the poster. It's not.
Beautiful life.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next pod we'll.
We got one more, and then we're going to take a little break.
That's right.
Because Freddie has to get married.
That's right. About to get married.
Pod first.
Congratulations, Freddie.
Yeah.
Pod
Thank
first.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I'm going to get married during the conference finals.
Can't wait to see what you're like on the pod after you're married.
I'm just going to be nuts. Yeah. I'm going to be like eating like raw steak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I don't know why raw steak, but listen, it'll be good.
Thing, yeah.
Hey,
As soon as you
everyone,
get married.
follow the podcast, become our 13th subscriber on YouTube, or go to iTunes, give us a rating and review.
Yeah.
We got some hot toques coming out right in time for the summer. We're gonna sell those. It'll be dope. We're really like on it with like merch and all this kind of stuff. So like see if you can ride our wave or whatever. No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening to the pod. See you next week.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.